7 assets to build wealth without anyone knowing. Your mailman drives a 2005 Toyota Corolla with rust on the door. Wears the same postal uniform for 30 years. Lives in a small house nobody notices. He dies at 87, and his estate reveals $8.2 million in assets that nobody, not his neighbors, not his co-workers, not even his own family, knew existed. Meanwhile, your neighbor with the Mercedes lease, the designer wardrobe, the Instagram perfect life, dies at 65 with $340,000 in debt. This is a true story. Ronald Reed, a janitor and gas station attendant from Vermont, left over $8 million to charity. Nobody saw it coming because he understood something most Americans never learn. Visible wealth attracts parasites. Invisible wealth compounds forever. Here's the question that should terrify you. How much of your wealth is a target right now? Every visible asset, your house, your car, your lifestyle, invites taxation, litigation, jealousy, and pressure. The ancient Rothschilds knew this. The Talmud taught this. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to build a fortune nobody can see, touch, or take. If you're tired of financial peacocking that leads nowhere, comment invisible wealth and hit subscribe. Let me show you what the first Rothschild understood about hiding money. Number 1. The Rothschild hidden hand asset principle. Most people put their wealth in the most visible places possible. The biggest house they can afford, the luxury car in the driveway, designer clothes that scream success. Every visible asset becomes a target for taxation, for litigation, for jealous relatives, for social pressure. Visible wealth attracts 100% of the problems, while invisible wealth compounds in complete peace. The Rothschild family understood this better than anyone in history. They built a banking empire worth billions across 5 countries over 2 centuries. But here's what the public saw. Modest homes that didn't stand out, unremarkable carriages, clothing that signaled comfort but never excess. Where was the real wealth? Hidden in bearer bonds, private trusts, shell companies, and gold reserves that nobody could see or track. But that's just the obvious part. The Rothschilds operated by a family rule that's been passed down for 8 generations. Show 10% of your wealth, hide 90%, control 100%. This invisibility principle is why their dynasty has lasted over 200 years, while flashier fortunes disappeared within a generation. Think about how most people structure their wealth. 90% visible. The house, the cars, the stuff everyone can see and judge. Maybe 10% is hidden away in some retirement account they rarely think about. The Rothschilds inverted this completely. Wait, there's something you need to pay attention to if you don't want to lose everything. Invisible assets carry 0 social pressure. There's no property tax collector eyeing your stock portfolio. No jealous relatives asking for loans against your bond holdings. No lawsuits specifically targeting the precious metals sitting in your vault. No neighbors comparing their index funds to yours because they don't know yours exist. Here's your modern translation. Live in a $300,000 house while owning $2 million in diversified assets nobody sees. Drive a $25,000 car while holding $500,000 in precious metals stored privately. Wear normal clothes from normal stores while controlling multiple digital income streams that generate silently in the background. Do this audit right now. List every asset you own. Calculate what percentage is visible. House, cars, jewelry, anything people can see versus invisible. Stocks, bonds, metals, digital assets, intellectual property. Your target should be 10% visible maximum, 90% invisible minimum. Every visible asset is a vulnerability. 2 professionals both had $1.5 million in net worth. The first lived it visibly. A dollar house, $80,000 in cars, everyone knew he was successful. When a lawsuit hit, attorneys easily discovered his assets and took $400,000. The second lived invisibly. $1,000 house, $1,000 car, but $1.2 million in assets nobody could find. Same lawsuit, they settled for $30,000 because they couldn't locate the real wealth. What they can see, they can take. What they can't see, you keep forever. Number 2, the Talmudic seed money multiplication law. And what I'm about to say is what makes the difference. People want one magic asset that makes them rich. They chase real estate, stocks, or crypto, or start a business, convinced that finding the right single investment will solve everything. They completely miss what ancient wisdom taught about survival through multiplication. The Talmud tells the story of a wise farmer who never planted just one crop in one field. He planted wheat, barley, olives, and grapes across multiple fields in different locations. When drought destroyed the wheat, his olives survived. When unexpected frost killed the grapevines, his barley thrived. The teaching was clear. Divide your portion into 7, even 8, for you know not what disaster may come upon the land. This wasn't just agricultural advice. It was the foundation of invisible wealth building that protected Jewish communities for 2,000 years. Here's the ancient 7-division formula translated for today. 15% in permanent stores, precious metals like gold and silver that have held value for millennia. 10% in the king's receipts, government bonds that provide safety. 30% in merchant ventures, stocks and index funds that grow with commerce. 20% of the land is income-generating real estate. 10% in skills that travel, education and certifications that can't be taken. 10% in friend networks, social capital that opens doors. 5% in new ventures, speculation, and emerging assets like cryptocurrency. It sounds simple, but the hardest part is what's about to be told next. This diversification creates something powerful: invisible anti-fragility. When the 2008 crash hit, real estate collapsed, but bonds protected wealth. When 2022 brought stock market drops, precious metals surged. When someone loses their job, their skills and network generate income, while other assets recover. Multiple invisible engines running simultaneously means one failure never destroys the whole system. The stealth advantage is that nobody can see or understand a truly diversified portfolio. You can't brag about 7 different asset classes at a dinner party. There's no Instagram post that makes sense about allocation percentages. It's just silent, unstoppable compounding that operates in darkness. A guy put everything into real estate in 2006. When 2008 hit, he lost 60% of his net worth and couldn't recover for a decade. Meanwhile, a woman followed the 7-division rule. 15% metals, 10% bonds, 30% stocks, 20% real estate, 10% skills, 10% network, 5% speculation. The 2008 crash hit her portfolio too. Real estate dropped, but metals surged and bonds stayed stable. She lost 20% total instead of 60%, recovered in 18 months, and now has $3 million. One basket screams, "Look at my eggs." 7 baskets whisper unstoppable diversification. Number 3, the Stoic productive silence income law. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people. Most people confuse making money with active work. They trade hours for dollars their entire lives, which means the moment they stop working, money stops flowing. They never build the assets that earn while they're sleeping, eating, or spending time with family. Seneca was the richest man in Rome and an advisor to the emperor. He owned rental properties across the empire, shipping businesses that moved goods between continents, and farmland that produced crops year after year. But here's his key insight that changed everything. "I have servants who work while I think." He didn't mean human servants. He meant assets that produced income without requiring his presence. While he philosophized and wrote, his wealth grew silently in the background. Wait, there's something you need to pay attention to if you don't want to lose everything. Think of productive silence in 4 categories. Silent paper soldiers. Dividend-paying stocks that send you quarterly checks without complaint. 500,000 in dividend stocks at 4% means 20,000 annually that arrives whether you're working or sleeping. Second, sleeping real estate. Rental properties where tenants pay your mortgage while you build equity. One $300,000 rental property generating $1,500 monthly is $18,000 a year in silent income. Third, digital ghosts, websites, online courses, or digital products you create once but sell forever. Build one course, sell it 1,000 times, that's 50,000 in income that required zero additional work after creation. Fourth, royalty rivers, intellectual property, books, patents, anything that pays you repeatedly for work you did once. Musicians earn for decades after recording a song. Authors collect royalties years after writing. Here's why invisible income is superior to visible income. Everyone knows what you earn at your job. Nobody knows what your dividend checks total. You can claim you have a modest income while actually earning 100,000 in passive streams that flow silently into accounts nobody sees. Social pressure eliminated. Jealousy was avoided completely. A nurse earned 75,000 in salary, 100% active income. Over 12 years, she quietly built a $400,000 dividend portfolio, generating 16,000 annually, bought one rental property, producing 18,000 yearly, and created an online course business, making 12,000 a year. Now she has 75,000 active, plus 46,000 passive income, totaling 121,000. She works 3 days a week because passive income covers her living expenses. Her colleagues think she's lucky and have no idea she spent 12 years building invisible income streams. Active income announces you're working. Passive income whispers you're free. Number 4, the Chinese bamboo root patience law. Don't jump to conclusions, because what comes next can change your perspective completely. People expect visible results immediately. They invest for 1 year and want to show their portfolio growth to friends. They save for 6 months and feel frustrated when the numbers look small. Invisible wealth requires something most people can't sustain: invisible patience. The Chinese have taught the bamboo parable for thousands of years, but most people only hear the surface version. You plant bamboo seeds and water them faithfully every single day. Year 1 passes with nothing visible above ground. Year 2, 3, 4, 5, still nothing breaks the surface. Neighbors walk by and mock you for watering empty dirt. Why waste time on something that clearly isn't working? Then in year 6, the bamboo shoots 90 feet upward in just 6 weeks. You think you've understood everything? There's a detail that few people notice, but it's extremely important. The question isn't whether it grew in 6 weeks or 5 years. The answer is it grew for 5 years. Underground, invisible to everyone, building a root network so massive and deep that explosive growth became inevitable. This is exactly how invisible wealth accumulation works. Years 1 through 3 are the mocking phase. You're investing while living modestly, driving an older car, and skipping expensive vacations. Meanwhile, friends are leasing BMWs, posting tropical getaways, and looking successful to everyone who's watching. You appear to be falling behind. They appear to be racing ahead. But underground, where nobody can see, your roots are spreading deeper and wider every single month. Years 4 through 7 bring the questioning phase. You have maybe 150,000 in net worth. Not nothing, but not impressive either. Friends still look wealthier with their visible lifestyles, even though they have 50,000 in actual assets, but look like they're worth 500,000. Self-doubt emerges. You start wondering if this invisible approach actually works. The years 8 through 15 bring the explosion phase. Compound interest hits critical mass. Your wealth shoots upward exponentially. You reach 800,000 at year 10, 2 million at year 15. Meanwhile, those friends who looked so successful, still broke, still chasing the next lease, still looking rich while being poor. Your underground roots have now become an above-ground tree. But here's the key. You keep it invisible. No social media announcements, no lifestyle upgrades to match the numbers. The wealth remains hidden. 2 friends started investing $500 monthly at 25. The first checked daily, shared wins on social media, switched strategies constantly because patience felt impossible. The second was checked once yearly, told nobody, and stayed the course through every market drop. At 45, the first had $420,000 after fees and panic selling 8 returns. The second had $1.4 million from doing nothing but waiting invisibly. Visible patience is performance. Invisible patience is profit. Number 5. The Benjamin Franklin Compound Invisibility Law. And it's in the next section that many people make mistakes without even knowing it. People understand compound interest mathematically. They've seen the charts showing how money grows over time, but they completely miss compound invisibility, the psychological principle that hiding your wealth growth actually accelerates it exponentially. Benjamin Franklin died in 1790 and left $4,400 split between Boston and Philadelphia with specific instructions. Don't touch this money for 100 years. When 1890 arrived, the funds had grown to $500,000. His instructions continued. Don't touch it for another 100 years. By 1990, 200 years after his death, the original $4,400 had become $6.5 million. The key wasn't just time and compound interest, it was that the growth happened in complete silence with zero interference. Wait, the most important part is in the following story. Here's why invisibility accelerates compounding in ways most people never consider. When wealth is visible, friends ask for loans and money leaves the system. Family members expect help with the down payment, and the capital gets depleted. Lawsuits specifically target visible assets, and growth gets interrupted. Tax authorities scrutinize public displays of wealth and demand higher payments. Social pressure to upgrade lifestyle kicks in and compounds get broken. The result? Your actual growth rate gets slashed by 30 to 50%. But invisible wealth operates differently. Nobody asks for what they don't know exists. There's zero social pressure to upgrade your lifestyle when people think you're just comfortable. Assets compound completely undisturbed because there's no interference. You reinvest 100% of gains and exactly 0% goes to maintaining appearances. Maximum compound velocity with no drag. The math is brutal when you calculate it. Say you invest $10,000 at 8% for 50 years. That should become $469,000. But if you tell everyone about your investments and show off your success, reality looks different. Social pressure causes you to withdraw $200,000 over those 50 years for helping family, funding friends' ventures, and lifestyle inflation to match your visible success. Your end result? $150,000 instead of $469,000. Invisibility was literally worth $319,000. Two brothers inherited $200,000 each at age 30. The first person to post about it told everyone, felt like he'd made it. The family asked for loans, $30,000 gone. Friends expected expensive outings, $40,000 over 5 years. Social pressure to look successful, $50,000 in lifestyle inflation. At 50, he had $280,000. The second told absolutely nobody, invested everything silently. No loans because nobody knew how to ask. No social pressure because invisible wealth creates invisible expectations. He reinvested every gain. At 50, he had $920,000. Compound interest is powerful. Compound invisibility is unstoppable. Number 6, the Jewish portable wealth modern principle. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people. People lock their wealth into immovable assets. The house they can't sell without disrupting their entire life. Land they're tied to geographically. Physical businesses that require their presence in one location. When crisis arrives, job loss, natural disaster, legal judgment, their wealth is trapped, inaccessible, completely vulnerable. Jewish communities learned something over 2,000 years that modern Americans have forgotten. They were expelled from countries 109 times throughout history. Those who tied their wealth to houses and land lost everything overnight. But those who kept wealth portable and invisible, they rebuilt their fortunes within months in new locations. The old portable wealth had a fatal flaw. It was visible. Gold coins in bags could be robbed at checkpoints. Cash in suitcases could be seized at borders. Bearer bonds in hand could be stolen. Portability without invisibility still meant vulnerability. It sounds simple, but the hardest part is what's about to be told next. The digital age created something revolutionary: portable and invisible wealth combined. A stock portfolio accessed instantly from anywhere on Earth through a smartphone, completely invisible to anyone watching. A cryptocurrency wallet where 12 words equal $1 million that can cross any border in your memory. Impossible to confiscate. Digital businesses that operate from a laptop and generate income from any country with internet. No physical presence required. Skills and knowledge stored in your mind. Travel everywhere, can't be taken by anyone. Here's your portability test. Could you relocate to another state or country tomorrow with 80% of your wealth intact and accessible? House equity scores 0, completely trapped in location. Rental property equity scores 0, tied to that specific address. Physical business scores 0, location dependent. But a stock portfolio? Yes, instant access globally. Cryptocurrency? Yes, 12 words equal full wealth anywhere. Digital business? Yes, a laptop equals an income stream. Professional skills? Yes, your mind travels everywhere. When Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005, two men both had $800,000 in net worth. The first had $700,000 in-house equity and $100,000 in stocks. He evacuated, his house was destroyed, insurance battles lasted 3 years. He lost $400,000 in value, and he faced years of financial stress. The second had $200,000 in his house, but $600,000 in portable invisible assets, stocks, digital business, cryptocurrency. He evacuated with his laptop, accessed his portfolio immediately from a hotel room, bought a house in Texas with stock profits, and was completely back on his feet within 6 months. Same net worth, different portability, completely opposite outcomes. Wealth you cannot move is wealth you do not truly control. Number 7, the Rockefeller Generational Invisibility Dynasty Law. All of the above will be meaningless if you miss the last detail. People spend decades building wealth, then watch their children destroy it completely in 1 generation. There's an old saying, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. The first generation builds it, the second generation maintains it, the third generation blows it. Why does this pattern repeat endlessly? Because parents made their wealth visible to their heirs too early. John D. Rockefeller became the richest American in history. But his secret wasn't making money, it was hiding it from his own children until they were ready. He raised his kids in a modest home where they did chores for small allowances. They had no idea about the family's massive wealth until they reached adulthood. He taught them one principle above all others: money is responsibility, not a trophy. I'll tell you something that many people regret for the rest of their lives, just because they didn't realize it in time. Look at the pattern. 70% of lottery winners are broke within 5 years. 78% of NFL players are broke within 3 years of retirement. 80% of child actors are broke by age 30. 70% of inherited wealth is gone by the second generation, 90% by the third. The common thread? Visible wealth was given to people who never learned to build it themselves. Now look at the opposite pattern. The Rockefellers are still wealthy 6 generations later. The Rothschilds remain wealthy 8 generations later. Old European families have preserved wealth for over 400 years. Their common thread, invisible training plus delayed revelation equals preserved wealth across centuries. Here's the Rockefeller method. From birth to 18, complete invisibility. Kids know the family is comfortable, but never that they're rich. They work for allowances, live in modest homes, and attend regular schools. Zero discussion of family assets or net worth. From 18 to 25, gradual education. Wealth is revealed slowly with the message, this is responsibility, not inheritance. They must work real jobs before accessing any trust funds. After 25, controlled access through trusts with restrictions that prevent blowing everything at once. Studies reveal the shocking cost of visibility. Children who knew their family was rich growing up, 85% developed substance abuse issues, 72% underachieved professionally, and 91% destroyed their inheritance within 20 years. Children who didn't know until adulthood. 15% substance issues, 82% successful careers, 88% preserved or grew their inheritance. 2 friends each built $5 million by age 50. The first moved to a mansion with luxury cars and elite private schools. His entitled kids blew their trust funds, and the wealth vanished in 1 generation. The second stayed in his $400,000 house with normal cars and public schools. His kids worked hard, built careers, and then received their trusts. Each is now worth over $10 million and teaching the same invisibility to their children. Wealth you show your children is wealth they'll destroy. Wealth you hide until they're ready lasts forever. So here's what you need to understand. 7 ancient laws of invisible wealth, not 10 modern asset tips. The Rothschilds, Talmud, Stoics, Franklin, Jewish communities, Rockefellers, every dynasty that lasted centuries practiced invisibility as their core principle. Visible wealth attracts parasites, lawsuits, and social pressure. Invisible wealth compounds undisturbed. This week, calculate your visibility ratio. How much of your wealth is visible? House, cars, things people can see versus invisible. Stocks, bonds, digital assets. Target 10% visible maximum, 90% invisible minimum. Start moving one visible asset into invisible form immediately. Comment invisible wealth and tell me which law hit you hardest. Share your biggest takeaway. Tag someone who needs to stop showing off and start building silently. Next video. Why visible millionaires go broke while invisible millionaires build dynasties. The 3-generation test. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Remember the mailman with $8.2 million that nobody knew about? Remember the Mercedes driver with debt that everyone saw? The wealth nobody sees is the wealth nobody can touch, tax, or take. Build like the mailman, invisible, unstoppable, permanent. The ancient path is always the hidden path.